You're in the Business Insurance Zone with me, Steve Savant, national financial columnist and color commentator. This week on The Biz, our Women in Money series. And on today's show, our very special guest, the host of Financially Wise Women from Los Angeles, Brittney Castro, certified financial planner.
When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Well, welcome everyone to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm your host, Steve Savant, and we're broadcasting live to a nationwide audience of financial professionals right here in Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain. And with me today, financially wise, Brittney Castro. Well, welcome to the show, Brittney.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you, and I have to say, I am looking at the next generation of certified financial planners. I mean, to have somebody in the millennial generation on our show is kind of exciting.
Yes.
I mean, and not only that, but not only is Brittney the next generation coming up, but she has an ebook out. And this ebook is great. It's the 9 Steps to Becoming Financially Wise Women. And this is a great little boilerplate. If you've said, man, I need a track to run on. Yes. I need kind of a basic plan. What is Brittney all about? Well, she's all about helping women become financially wise because, as I've said many times on this show, a man is not a plan.
Great tagline.
I love that line. I didn't write it, and I wish I did. Brittney, I have to say, I'm looking at your resume, and one of the best parts about your story is your early childhood. And this really makes me start to think that people that are watching our show today actually should do what you did for their children.
Yes.
I read her resume, and you were buying, you were playing with your cash register, the little toy cash registers.
Yes.
Your Monopoly money. I mean, you already were having your own fake checkbook when you were a little girl. You already had a fascination for money. How did that happen?
I have no idea how it happened. I mean, clearly, like, my parents bought me the toys, but I just loved it. I mean, I would balance my checkbook. I'd write fake checks all the time. Loved my cash register. But I think, you know, just playing with those toys, I, at a very young age, not knowing, of course, was identifying with money very early on. You know, how to organize it, how to think about it, how to view it, touch it, you know, feel it, all of those things that I think sometimes nowadays is lost with children, right?
Well, isn't it true? I mean, I think you got your first credit card when you were 16.
Yes.
Now talk a little bit about that, because usually I have children.
Right.
I handed them a credit card with major fear. You know, so how was it for you at 16 having a credit card?
Yeah, I mean, a big part of that was my dad was really straightforward, and both him and my mom said, look, we want to give you this credit card to help you build credit, because that's really important, and they knew that, and you're going to only use it for gas, and we're going to make sure that you pay it off every month, because I had a job. I mean, I worked all throughout high school, but my dad was also very aware of what that credit card was for, because you know, I was 16, I was in high school, I was like, great, this sounds fun. But their help and their guidance just on that basic level of have a credit card, pay it off every month, I mean, it was perfect experience at that time in high school.
What about women with credit cards now? I mean, a lot of people, single gals, people coming out of divorces, older women whose husbands have passed on. A lot of this, in our old way of doing culture, from a financial point of view, we did not, I mean, really, it wasn't in their name. Now all of a sudden we're trying to move into it where women are treated equally, and one of the equal places are credit cards. I mean, that to me is a real issue.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's equal in a lot of areas, but I think credit cards, especially for both men and women, it's still a very sticky subject and confusing area. We know what we should be doing with our, you know, we know we shouldn't buy more than, you know, we can afford every month, but it's that very quick and easy swipe, and now we don't even need the credit card. It's all through PayPal or online. You just click, 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 right? So it's a very emotional thing these days, and I think that's where we need to shift our awareness into, is figuring out what is that emotional roadblock or that emotional drive forcing us to use our credit card more than we should.
You know, they're marketing to our soul all the time. These advertisers got us down on demographics. I noticed in your book, in your ebook, Financially Wise Women, that one of your first things is to know where you've come from financially. And a lot of people, a lot of women, really don't know if they have a history.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
they've never thought about it.
They never thought about it. So when you think about that, how critical is it to go forward, kind of understanding where you came from in your past?
It's so important. I mean, I didn't even know, like when I first started my career as a financial advisor, I didn't really know my money history until I started to do the work and really dig and figure out, oh my gosh, reviewing your past experiences with money is so important. You know, reviewing how your parents thought about money. What were they saying in the household? Did they say things like, we don't have enough money, or money is the root of all evil? Or were they coming from a positive perspective and mindset saying like, oh, we have money for that, or, you know, money's great and we could use it to support the life that we want. And taking that time, women especially, what I find is the women that I work with, to review their money story, their money history, is such an eye-opener, because all of a sudden all these red flags go off, or these light bulbs go off, and we're like, oh, maybe that's why I'm overspending, right? Or hoarding my money, or penny pinching because of the way my parents were doing things, or the past experience I had in high school with money. So it is really a big eye-opener.
Well, it's really astonishing to me, because I don't really see men reviewing their history like that or looking at their past. And if this is a really good way to move on to the future, I have to kind of deal with my past, understand my belief systems, kind of get a handle on my value system, and then from that past, from my understanding of that, then I can kind of move forward and start to do what I say, what you've actually coined is financially wise moves. And that's what we're into. When we come back, we're going to talk more about money management and how women manage money, and how Brittney actually figured this out at such a young age. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Did you know the average 401k runs out of money just 7 to 8 years into retirement? Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and many other publications have warned of the difficulty of saving with a 401k. But what if there was a way to create tax-free lifetime retirement income with no stock market risk? Good news, there is.
You know, living in fear of the next market dive is not the way I want to live my life.
Why would I go out there and take on risk when I don't need to?
I have a lot less stress knowing I can't lose any more of my retirement savings in the stock market.
Call now to receive your free, no-obligation analysis of what this retirement vehicle could do for you, a comparison to your current retirement plan, and a free video that explains this exciting opportunity. Start planning a retirement you can enjoy instead of worrying about future tax increases and stock market losses. Creating income that will last your entire life is the most important thing you'll ever do. Take control of your future. Call now for your free analysis, comparison, and video.
Well, welcome back to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm Steve Savant with Brittney Castro. And remember, you can order today's giveaways at thebiz@brokersalliance.com. And what are we giving away? Well, we're giving away the 5-part video series on women and money with Dr. Barb Provost. And we're going to be giving away Brittney's ebook, Financially Wise Women, and you can just go ahead and order it. We'll just make sure you get it. It's just really great. And remember, anything we talk about, although we're not really talking taxes per se today, but anything we talk about, always go to your tax advisor, and if you're FINRA licensed, your broker dealer, compliance officer, before moving forward with anything that we talk about on this show. And what are we talking about today? Women and money, and I'd like to go like this, comma, your practice, because really that's what we're talking about here.
Yes.
You want to build out your business. We talked about women being the #1 referral base. The guys aren't even close. The statistics are unbelievable. If you can really develop a connection, a community, a worldview of how women are actually now running the country. 60% of all the money in America, and by the way, it's just only going to get bigger with the World War II and Korean guys gone. Mom and her baby boomer daughter have the purse strings now. You need to learn how to speak to women. It's like going back to learning how to dating all over again.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that, because we talked earlier on yesterday in our explanation. We said we need better explanations, more thorough, maybe more detailed, spend more time. But another thing is less industrial jargon. I mean, I have to admit it. I am into acronyms like I cannot believe. I am into industrial language, and sometimes I wonder if I'm doing it just to show that I really want to have, I really have a knowledge base. But less jargon, Less industrial language, less acronyms.
Right. Definitely. We want things simple. Keep it simple. There's an acronym we could use, KISS. Keep it simple, silly. I mean, honestly, the IRA, all these things, all these jargon we had for the financial industry, it's gone way overboard, and people don't even know what an IRA stands for anymore. So even just breaking that up and saying individual retirement account, it's like, oh, thank you, because I've never knew what that meant. So keeping things very simple, straightforward, you know, layman's terms. We don't need to know that you know so much complex stuff. I already trust you. I like you. I definitely know you're a smart guy and you're an expert in this. So I don't really care about all the details. Just tell me the basics, right?
I think we make a mistake because we like to pontificate.
Yes.
You know, and we like to kind of show our knowledge base. But I'm looking at ideas. I notice that women, it seems to me, from my perspective, that they want more alternatives. You know, I'm not coming in here saying a Roth, a IRA, a 401k. You know, I'm not talking like that. I'm coming in saying, based on what you've told me on your retirement goals, I'm going to show you a kind of a potpourri, if you would, right? A kind of a menu of possibilities. Is that true? Is that a good observation? Or, you know, talk to me a little bit about, is alternatives, or no, I just need 2 or 3 and I'm out the door?
I don't think you want to give anybody too many choices because that's why they're hiring you, so you can filter the information and provide me some solution options. But I think having 1 to 3 options is always great, because when you're working with women, clients especially, what we want is to feel empowered enough to make the decision ourselves. And clients in general need to make the financial decisions themselves. So in order to do that, you say, here's option A, B, and C. Here are the pros and cons of each. Let me explain the strategy to you, and which one do you feel most comfortable moving forward with? And then at that time, women are going to say option A. And when you give them that ability to make an option, make the decision for themselves, that builds their confidence up. It builds their ability to continue to make smart decisions for themselves. And keep in mind now, you know, this is kind of like the first time ever that women have the ability to make financial decisions for themselves for their lifetime. We don't need a man, we don't need anybody like it used to be back in the day. So we need to build that confidence up, because that's what we lack in our financial life. So give us options and let us do that decision making so we feel comfortable. And then once that happens, I'm gonna like you even more, because you're laying things out, you're very clear, and you help me feel empowered making decisions. I
think that's really important, what you just laid out, especially the idea of we should always be clear with everybody we talk to. But when we're talking about clarity of point, I think women want to interrupt us and say, I didn't get that. Where guys would never do that. They'll never interrupt. They'll say yes, okay, and they'll go through. They'll never question, I didn't really understand what you said. Whereas I've seen women are much braver, I think, that would come and say, I'm not really sure I understood what you just said. Can you explain it? And I think clarity is a huge issue of closing. I mean, if I'm clear and I try to take out every superlative, every adjective I can, and give a good, solid explanation, clear and easy, as you said, keep it simple. Silly. I was going to say, I thought it was always keep it simple, stupid, but okay.
I like silly.
Another thing that I'm looking at is the process. I mean, we think differently about buying. Guys think differently. I buy a Lexus over an Avalon. That's the same car. It's $10,000 difference, where my wife might say, that was $10,000, that was a bad deal. So talk a little bit about that process buying.
You know, you see it in different areas, right? Because women still do impulse buying. You know, shopping is one of our weaknesses. But I think in general, women are aware of all the things that we need to be doing. We're a little bit more holistic the way that we think, and we're a little bit more proactive, and we know, oh, okay, it's not really practical to buy a Lexus when I know Jimmy's private school tuition is coming up next year and I need to start saving for that. You know, so we're already thinking in the future, and that affects the decisions we're making today.
That is a major issue to put your finger on. They're always thinking of the future. I think we think more like today. Oh boy. Remember, you can watch this show and all our shows by clicking the red on-demand video button right on our homepage at brokersalliance.com. Well, that's the Buzz on the Biz for today. Get in the zone, the business insurance zone.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.